Hello, today I'm going to show you some amazing examples of what ChatGPT's new chat about images feature can do in real estate. It's going to blow your mind. And I think that the applications are only going to continue to multiply. But these first ones that I've captured, just kind of geeking out on it, are going to be immediately impactful to your business. So please enjoy this. And at the end, I'm going to give you a little bonus. So the first one that we're going to start with, I'm going to go through a couple, and to save time, I've already kind of run them, and then we're going to run some live ones at the end. Okay. So we're going to go through some interior design ones. We're going to kind of get your interior design groove on, and then how do we actually have practical applications about things that you can do today as a real estate practitioner. Okay. So first one is I literally just took a screenshot as an example of a listing a vacant room, right? And said, hey, act as an interior designer, suggest two layouts for furniture in this room. I think that's a pretty good use case. Basically, how can I walk through and before I go to a listing, have kind of a vision in my head how to talk about laying out a room. And so it gave two options, one that's more of an open concept and one that's intimate and cozy. I'm not going to read these to you, but I'll put some screenshots in the comments or whatever after this video. But just think of that as you can take a screenshot or use your phone to take a picture of a room while you're in it, and then have it generate some ideas for you. And then while the client is maybe looking in the kitchen, come back in and say, hey, have you thought about maybe arranging things like this or like that? Now, that works well with an empty room, but it also works with a room with furniture in it. So you can, this is now me just taking a picture of a living room with my phone. And I asked it to classify the design style of the interior and then make recommendations for things that we could do to kind of modify it to make it even better. I thought, maybe that's a pretty good use case, right? You're walking through an open house, or maybe it's you're walking through just a listing with a client, and while they're in the other room, you kind of do that same routine, but this time you can talk about the design style, because I'm not an interior designer, and maybe you are, maybe you aren't, I don't know. But this is going to be, I think, a game changer, because what it did is it came back and told me what the room was, the style, transitional. Then it talked about what was actually in the room. So it got all the elements right. Then it even went in to start suggesting about things you could do, like some additional wall art or laying in some light or rug size or greenery, just little things that could really enhance the view. So you can either use this on your own listings after maybe the stager's done and you don't fully love the room, but you maybe there's just something off, or if you don't want to use a stager and take a picture of the room and then have it make recommendations, and maybe you can just do one or two things and save that money that you would spend on a stager, right? So either enhance what they're doing or save some cash and do it yourself by taking a picture and asking it that prompt, right? Number three, and I had to go twice because I walked outside, I lost an internet connection. The next thing is when I walked outside, I take a picture of a house across the street. And I said, what's the architecture style of this home? Came back with colonial revive. And I went and looked at, is this actually the right style? And because I thought colonial needed pillars. I don't know. But when it came back with some images, there is definitely this style that doesn't have the pillars in it. So I think it's pretty darn close in getting that right. There are definitely elements about that. So I was pretty impressed with that. And then it even goes into describing why it is. So again, use case for you. You're in a neighborhood, maybe you don't really know, or maybe you do off the cuff. I always get them kind of a little bit off. So now you can take a picture of a home and classify what type of architecture it is, whether it's a craftsman, modern craftsman, colonial, on and on and on. You can more accurately speak to that. Now, what if you're in a house and you want to talk about the features within a room, not relaying it out or what design style is, but actually identify and classify things that are noteworthy within a room. This one, I took a screenshot of a listing. I think it's this one I still have up. Yep. I went and found a random listing and went till I got the first kitchen picture. There's a couple of them I probably could have used. I literally just took a screenshot of this to see how well this would actually work. And what it did was, I thought it was very impressive. So it got the vaulted ceilings, it caught the skylight, which I didn't even see initially, the white cabinetry, obviously the glass facing cabinets. But then it even got, I think it was tiled backsplash. And I had to even zoom in. I'm like, wait a second, is there one back there? And there's another picture that kind of shows. I'm like, what do you know? I didn't even see that in the picture, right? That's the level we're getting to with this intelligence, where if you want to make sure that you capture all of the details in a home that maybe you're listing, it's amazing. It's one of those kind of phenomena where that's why you have two people in a meeting, because you might hear different things from the same set of words, just because we all kind of listen differently for what's in there. That's the same thing now with imagery. You can chat with an image and it can tell you very clearly what's in a room. So this will be helpful if you walk through a room, do this to a couple of rooms, for when you get back to the office to write the listing description. I think this will help a lot. So, or if you're trying to justify why a property is worth more or not worth as much, depending on if you're on the buy or sell side, I think you could also take pictures of areas in a home and ask it to talk about the lawn, or talk about maybe there's a crack in a wall, or there's something that you don't know what it is. I see those a lot in those Facebook groups about what is this thing. Well, now you can actually just take a picture of it and be like, why is this here? Or what is this thing? And it'll help you understand why that would have been done. So talking about the listing description, right? Moving on to the next one. For this property, here it is. I literally went and took a screenshot of this just to see, would it get the listing description right from an image, and then could it enhance it without you having to rewrite it all, right? And would it do it, well? So I asked it to, rewrite this listing description, right, to maximize the sell the value, and then recommend changes, like list what you would change. So here's the initial description, which it got right, and then recommended changes, which, if you read through this, which I'll post, guys, I'll put all this down in the video. I was impressed with the changes. It brought in the details that were in the original. It didn't hallucinate, and then it even listed out the areas that it had changed. So I thought that was a great start. But it kind of then gave me, lead me to thinking about, what if we did this for, a listing description for just another home. So I have Redfin up over here. Tell you what, let's just pick this one, the first one. Okay, let's go with that first photo. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot of it and ask it to write a listing description for this home in Washington State. Let's see how good it is. There we go. Basic, straightforward screenshot. There it is. Open that up. Can you? Description for this. Okay. The photo is done loading. Now let's see what it does. So it usually takes about a minute or so, but it starts writing pretty quickly. And the quality of the content usually is, I've been impressed with. But the one thing that I noticed that it doesn't bring in, for obvious reasons, is accurate details about the home, like square footage, number of bedrooms and bathrooms, any special features. It'll kind of like, it'll guess at features. It'll make accurate analysis. So a dual car garage, graceful archway, step inside, discover interior natural light with exposed windows. So it's seeing this and looking in and seeing that there's a lot of natural light. That's pretty slick. Brick facade. Looks like it didn't get the landscaping front, double door entry. Okay. So you can see there's one or two little details off, but it does a pretty good job at describing a property. And that kind of, all right, now you can literally, use case, driving up to, you have a listing appointment. You can either use Google Maps and take a screenshot from the street view to have it write an initial listing description and do a couple of versions of it. So you're going to put it in a folder before you go. Or if it's been on the property at some point in the past, there's usually like that initial picture still on the Zillow or Trulia or Redfin or Realtor, one of the portals. So it's a great way to get initial listing description before you know any details about the property. And what I think is really kind of cool is that you don't just stop at a listing description, but I know that I've been on hikes before and wanted to know what type of plant that something was, or flower or whatnot. And, I wanted to experiment with that a little bit. So let's find one of the backyard here. Okay, so we could go with something like this. Oh, that jumped around on me. Here, let's go with that one. That's got a nice view of some plants and stuff. Okay, so again, I'm just going to take a screenshot. Now, you can also do this with the cell phone, which is what I would actually recommend. It's a pretty slick feature, kind of goes right away. But since we're sitting here together, I'm just going to do it this way. Okay, so this time we're going to upload that photo, that new photo, there it is, of the backyard. And I wrote this kind of very basic prompt that you could probably hack out on your phone pretty quick. And what I'm going to ask it to do is I want to list the species and decorative elements, hardscape. Then also tell me, score the yard maintenance. How hard is it to maintain this yard, right? And then describe someone that would love it. I think this comes into play if you have a buyer that maybe is disabled, or on the flip side loves to do gardening, and being able to find the right property that has the mix of wildlife, the right types of plants. Maybe they want a 5 out of 10 maintenance, not a 9 out of 10 or an 11 out of 10. Something that's just impossible to maintain. You need more people. But let's see how well it does at finding what the plant species are. So we do a vine. Okay, so let's see if they got that right. That's the type of flower that it's calling out. So that looks pretty accurate. I mean, isn't that amazing? I mean, it's getting the right flowers. There it is. That's awesome. That is pretty cool. Okay, so there it is. It's telling you the decorative elements, the hardscape. It's a 3 out of 5 maintenance. So someone that maybe doesn't want a lot of maintenance in the yard, you can quickly define that. I think a lot of us already can kind of tell that, but if there's certain type of plant species, or they want color changes, or they want things that have, maybe the leaves will change a certain color in the fall or whatever. If you're not a botanist and you want a quick way to kind of get a gauge of effort, does it fit my buyer, and does it have some of the things that they want? Or doesn't have. So I'd probably modify that a little bit back and forth to see if that's actually the right fit or not for your agents, or for your buyer, excuse me. So those are, here's the description. Tailored to someone who values both tranquility, individual. Want to spend playing. They want to play a little bit, but they don't want to have to do a lot of work, basically. Okay, perfect. So these are just a couple of really straightforward use cases for how AI is going to start to, again, transition how we work with technology, and have it actually become a partner with us in it, rather than us thinking that we know everything. We can double check things or qualify things before we go on a listing appointment and whatnot. That'll have a huge benefit, I think, to anyone that doesn't know everything about everything. And I hope that none of us are like that. Actually, I know none of us are like that. Let's see. So the final thing is, when I was looking at that listing description, right, to that point that it wasn't exactly the same, I did pull up just a random property on my likely sellers one in the refresh engine. And what I found is that when I look at the listing description here versus the other one, is that you can see that there's detail in about number of bedrooms, bath, year built. So it adds that level of context that, if you don't have the listing yet, I think a drive-by or a Google Street View and have it kind of describe the property, so you can put that into your listing description part of your folder, is the right thing to do. But then, if you are gonna get the listing, or if you want to kind of take it that next level and you want a little additional detail, put the property into your refresh engine, have it run a listing description. You don't have to take the picture. We do all that work for you, and you can also have it do a buyer persona, right? So you can get a listing description, you can get a couple different versions of it you want to run a couple times, and then you can also do the buyer persona, which I think is just worth its weight in gold. It tells you who's most likely to buy the home, gives you breakdown of their desires and pain points, as you can kind of see here. I think I went into this a little bit the other week. So kind of what it would cost, who they are, psychographics, interests, home improvement, gardening, pain points, limited budget, safety, limited time, work-life balance. So, those pain points, guys, and those desires, stability, home ownership, quality education, that's gold for creating ad copy, right? You pull on pain points, right? You pull on pain points and the desires, and you're going to get a win, all right? Then where are the buyers coming from? What are the pools? Where they're going to come from? What zip codes are they coming from? These are zip codes that aren't the same as the property. And then we even give you the Facebook, the social ads. So here, this is your ad targeting. Then use these words in your advertising, Instagram, Twitter, whatnot. Some additional marketing channels, and then even some buying behaviors and brands that they would be associated with. So probably places that if you want to run into and bump into the people that would be buyers for homes like these are the one that you're listing. This is what you do. So that's my spiel. There's a way to get the free trial in this video link. Join our Facebook page if you want more of this content. Besides that, this is another Minutes to Mastery on Friday afternoon. So have a great weekend. Be safe. There's going to be a lot more coming out. So please stay tuned. Either subscribe to our YouTube or follow us on LinkedIn or join our Facebook group or all the above in order to get more of this content around how can I apply artificial intelligence, AI, into my real estate business. Because as I've said before, real estate, data has set the stage, and artificial intelligence is stealing the show. Okay. So with that, have a great Friday, and I'll see you again soon.